Hark, it's an 87th Precinct Podcast bonus episode. This is the bonus episode for Book 40, which is Tricks, the Halloween story of everything, basically, in the Precinct. And we'll do what we usually do, which is have a look at the original UK and US editions of the book in paperback and hardback, and then have a look at our own copies to start things off with. So I'm going to ask Morgan to describe the first picture I've sent across.
Okay, so are we looking at the one with the woman with the pumpkin?
We are looking at the one with the woman with the pumpkin, the
It's
US hardback edition. Yeah.
I think I've just described it. It's a woman with a pumpkin.
Yeah, essentially.
Well, there we go.
Yeah, there's not much more to say, is there?
No wonder the American reviews weren't that positive with that cover.
It's taken the same sort of... It's following on from the cover of the American edition of Poison, isn't it, really?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's...
Rubbish is what it is.
that's what I was looking for, yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to work out if it's better or worse than Poison. I think it's slightly better, but it's still really rubbish.
It looks slightly less like it's going to be some kind of terrible soft porn novel.
It's a very happy pumpkin as well.
Yep.
So there you go then. It's a pensive woman with a pumpkin.
True.
Right, Steve-O, please enlighten us on what the next one is, which is the US paperback edition.
Yeah, it's a bit weird, really. Tricks in silvery, metal-looking text. And then what's that? Like a skull and a...
Yeah.
I can't even make out of that.
It's a bit murky,
rubbish,
isn't it?
Rubbish as well. Just a skull on some black stuff.
Yeah. Because I've found quite a high-resolution copy of the cover here, and you can't really tell what's going on. It's
looks like a sausage on the right over a bonfire.
Someone's roasting a mini wiener over a skull fire.
Well, perhaps that's a link to Andy Parker going to the parties. It's a party sausage.
I would love that to be the case. Yeah, I don't know what the item is supposed to be on that this skull is breaking out of. I'll have to see if I can find some other images. This doesn't help.
Useless as well. The next one's the book that I've got.
Oh right, okay. That's the UK hardback edition.
Yeah.
Me too.
Oh well, you might as well describe that. Is that what you've got, Morgan?
Yeah, indeed.
Oh right, okay. Well then, Steve-O, you can describe this.
Well, are they cheap Chinese masks or just horror masks? Aren't they?
Just Halloween masks of some description.
Just Halloween masks, yeah. And then with some I quite like the tricks text. It's like broken by weird mirror, kind of all broken up. So that's supposed to alludes to the masks that the children were wearing, holding up the liquor stores.
Yeah, because they wear a variety of disguises, don't they?
They do, yeah. Different one for each.
So one time they're in those Oriental disguises, aren't they? And another time it's just clowns, I think, and things like that. But yeah, scary masks. It is blue. There are some masks.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I will describe the UK paperback edition because that's the one I've got. And this is one that people have mentioned to me because it's still in pan, but notice no gold band anymore. They've moved to a new design for these ones. Not that there's many pan editions left because they move on to a new publisher before too long. But we've now got McBain written just in a shiny gold font at the top, the word tricks, and then a mask. But this time it's a photorealistic mask of a woman's face with like the string through it. And as a piece of graphic design, it's probably the most interesting out of the lot.
It could be something off a David Lynch movie poster of the same era, couldn't it?
Oh, definitely, yeah. So, I mean, you have to do a little bit of conceptual thinking, perhaps it being about the mask that Annie and Eileen are wearing when they're undercover.
Yeah, maybe. And then the actual masks of the...
Yeah, it's got a concept behind it, and it's got a sort of nice sort of airbrush charm to it, I think. But, yeah, I think I think that's probably the best one. I don't know. What do you reckon?
I think I prefer the the one that I've got.
Yeah. Any thoughts, Morgan?
I think both the UK ones are all right. It's a bit of a toss-up between them.
I think the text does.
Yeah, I like the font on the hardback, I must admit.
Fair enough. So perhaps, like you say, the actual design of the books themselves may have lent to made people feel more secure with the UK editions and happier to read the story than the American ones, which clearly upset several reviewers.
Yeah.
Clearly, yeah.
Well, they're not a patch on like the 70s and before, are they? It's such a shame. Whether it's just the style of the time or just,
perhaps.
the amount of money they devoted to them. I don't know. It just doesn't seem to have less thought, certainly, don't they?
Yeah, they're just not as interesting. But they're clearly not going to do the old pulp paperback style things. But I wish they were. Yeah. And nowadays you'd probably sell more if you did it in that reproduction style. Yeah. And it's something like Hard Case Crime do theirs in the old covers. So.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right, shall I have a quick huff?
Straight in.
Right in there.
I'm trying different pages. Ooh, spicy this one.
Spicy. Go on, Morgan. You've got a comparable copy.
Yeah, might be off the same Spicy press. All those days back in 1987.
No, it's actually pretty nondescript. Actually, it's not been. I think it's been particularly well kept. So there's just a very, very slight kind of mustiness to it, but it's pretty good nick and not too pungent at all.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, well, I'll smell my Pan edition, which is pretty untouched as a book. It's in very good nick, and in fact the only creasing on it is from me reading it at double speed as I did, because I got through it in 2 nights. I was that excited. I'll have a little sniff. I just breathed in too much, then I got slightly lightheaded. But that's a fairly standard paperback. It's not too much one way or the other. It's okay. So satisfactory there, I think. Right, okay. We can move on from that madness then and do some 1987 stuff, I think.
Splendid.
We did Rock and Roll Hall of Fame stuff last time for 1986, but we'll move back to the charts for 1987. I'll say that we're doing the 28th of October 1987, which is when the book was published. Mm-hmm. And I've got the American singles chart and the UK singles chart, the top 10. Some interesting ones in here. I don't think there's any that are in both charts. Yeah. Anyone want a quick guess?
Ooh. Well, I do know Hysteria was released in 1987, and that had a few hit singles off it, didn't it? Are any of those kicking round?
Sadly not in the top 10 at this point.
Any Mel and Kim in the UK one?
Sadly not, no. No. I do like Mel and Kim. So.
Well, rightly so, yeah. I'm trying to think.
There are some big names in here on both charts.
Yeah,
Fleetwood Mac had Tango in the Night. So that must have had a few. Big Love and all that, but they were reasonable hits. I'd say
think of an even more famous Mac song from the time.
Everywhere?
Even more famous than that, I would suggest.
To Tell Me Lies, what is that one?
Yeah, Little Lies.
Little Lies, that's what it's called. I started saying it and realised I didn't actually know what the title was.
And I've made a liar of myself by saying that there wasn't anything common to both charts, but it's number 6 in America, It's number 5 in the UK at the time.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, do you know what? There's at least 2. There's 2, and there's another one that's in America and in the UK. I'll run them down, otherwise we'll be here forever, and you'll recognise a lot of them. So the weird thing is, I don't know why I said it's weird, but in the UK the number 1 song is "You Win Again" by the Bee Gees.
Oh yeah,
it was massive, wasn't it? Yeah.
And that is followed at number 2 by George Michael with "Faith."
Oh yeah.
Oh yep.
The faith. You got to have faith. Then we've got "Love in the First Degree" by Lana Nili Nunu. No, Bananarama.
Yeah, at the start of their Stock Aitken and Waterman phase.
Yeah.
Sadly.
We've got at number 4, Jan Hammer with "Crockett's Theme."
Oh yeah, from Miami Vice.
Then Little Lies by Mac at 5. Number 6, we've got Erasure with "The Circus."
Oh, yeah.
I don't know that one. I don't think I do.
I think it's probably one that we'd all recognise if we heard it, but I can't place it at the moment now.
Yeah. Number 7, we got Mony Mony by Billy Idol.
Oh, yeah.
Which I presume is just a cover of Mony Mony.
Yeah, Tommy James and the Shondells, yeah. Done in very big 80s stadium style.
Number 8 is Rent by the Pet Shop Boys. And number 9, we've got Crazy Crazy Nights by Kiss.
Tremendous.
Right. Yeah.
Which is a great song, but still the version that one of your band's Town Bike did, Morgan, that I produced, I still think is the better version because it's quicker.
It is a little bit livelier, isn't it? That's true.
Yeah, I'll share that for everyone so they can enjoy it.
I think that was probably Kiss's biggest hit in this country, but a total flop in the States.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they never play it when they actually tour the States because people don't. It failed over there. I think it just kind of comes out for European and Australian tours apparently.
That's very strange because it's such a good pop song.
That's a start,
Yeah, so it peaked at number 4 in the UK, but it's down at 9 in this chart. And at number 10, we've got Was Not Was with Walk the Dinosaur. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yep, indeed.
Open the door, get on the floor, etc.
Absolutely. I won't do that now because we're recording a podcast. Right, the US chart then. Number 1, Bad by Michael Jackson. I'm not going to talk about him anymore. Number 2, Causing a Commotion by Madonna.
Don't even remember that one.
So that's not one I recall. It's just her going into different places and making a nuisance of herself by the sounds of it. Number 3, we have another cover version. It is I Think We're Alone Now by Tiffany.
Oh, God, of course.
A classic. We used to play that, didn't we, Morgan, in Sci-Fi Silver?
We did indeed. So is that 2 Tommy James and the Shondells songs in the charts at once in 1987? It must have been the era for it.
Yeah, indeed, because Mony Mony by Billy Idol is at number 4 in America. Then we have Casanova by Levert.
Ooh.
No, not.
No.
No bells ringing for me there. And then Little Lies by Mac. Number 7, we have Let Me Be the One by Exposé.
Nope.
Again, I think it is interesting how different the charts are. Apart from these couple of crossovers, that there's stuff that we've presumably just never heard over here. But 8, we've got You Got the Look by Prince.
Oh yeah, with Sheena Easton, marvelous.
Then we have number 9 is Breakout by Swing Out Sister. And number 10 is almost Halloween themed. This one, it seems, Brilliant Disguise by Bruce Springsteen. I don't actually know the song.
No,
I assume it's just him going, I've got a brilliant disguise. I'm going to the party as a ghost.
That's more or less it, isn't it? Yeah, it's
with more saxophone.
Got the feel of the boss about it.
With more saxophone.
Television then. It's a good year, 1987. It would have been a good year for us as kids, and it's also, I think, a good year for us growing up as well. Legacy shows, you might call them.
Go on then.
Well, let's deal with the UK first because that's obviously what we know. So, Going Live starts in 1987.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah,
absolutely.
Saturday morning kids TV show.
Gordon the Gopher.
Yeah, Gordon the Gopher is one of the presenters who is a puppet gopher. It is a show that my nan appeared on, which my nan who sadly passed away this year, and I would love to find the footage of her appearing on Going Live. They used to send cameras round to people's houses to surprise them if their family wrote in. Yeah. And my nan playing had a little keyboard that she could play Any Dream Will Do from Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat on it. And coincidentally, the presenter of Going Live, Philip Schofield, was starring in Joseph at the time. And in the studio was Dudley Moore.
Bloody hell.
So you've got my nan in Essex, in a little flat in Essex, playing I Closed My Eyes.
So who wrote in to get your nan on then?
Uncle David and the family, that side. Oh. And so, yeah, my nan's playing her little keyboard. Dudley Moore's accompanying her back in the studio on the piano.
You must be able to find that online.
I can't find it anywhere.
Oh, I'm gonna look now.
Well, you can, but I've hit up Cook and Morse scholars and they haven't got a copy of it. It's really annoying. But yeah, this is it's I remember staying in to watch it because we didn't know when it was going to be on in the show, and the show lasts about 3 hours, doesn't it, going live? It's one of these big ones that cuts away to cartoons and things.
Yeah.
And so it's just, my nan is my dad's mum, and he got really impatient waiting for it because he hates watching children's TV, and went out to walk the dog, which at a point, of course, it comes straight on the telly.
Naturally.
But yeah, I wish I had the tape still. It's, especially with Nan having passed away this year, it'd have been lovely to have that. But anyway, that's going live, which would have occupied our Saturday mornings for quite a few years, really. Shall we move on to Chuckle Vision?
Oh God! Oh my God! What a year!
Yeah, Paul and Barry Chuckle, and the other Chuckle brothers who were less famous.
Yeah, only one Chuckle brother with us anymore. Very sad.
Yeah. I have a family story about the Chuckle brothers as well, but I'm not going to tell it.
Was your nan on the Chuckle brothers?
No, sadly not. No. Right, let's moving on from Chuckle Vision, which was a sort of kids' live-action slapstick knockabout show, essentially.
Yeah, normally involved them trying to fit some kind of inappropriately sized piece of furniture through a gap that it wouldn't fit through, in which led to lots of saying of "to me, to you" over and over again.
To you.
And they were called Barry and Paul Chuckle, we should add.
They were.
Yeah.
Which, if, like me and my brother, you're called Paul and Gary, is hilarious. Anyway, yeah. The other kids one I wanted to mention is a show called Nightmare.
Oh, wow. Brilliant.
Now you're talking.
I mean, how would you describe Nightmare to anyone who hasn't seen it?
Oh, my God, it's brilliant. It's got really good credits as well, hasn't it? Really good.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Great theme tune.
Great theme.
Welcome, young travellers.
Enter, stranger.
Very early video game kind of concept, wasn't it? Where you had somebody in a green room, essentially, which everyone else, their mates back in the castle, had to kind of guide them through. One step to the left, another, and then straight forward, and you'd have to guide them through the door and escape the
some kind of gigantic spiders coming towards them.
villainy. Yeah,
so it was a sort of fantasy medieval role play thing where some kids controlled another kid who couldn't see.
Was he called Traegar?
Traegar, yeah.
And then I think later on they added an annoying elf called Pickle.
They did. Yeah, but it was brilliant because it was like one of these things where you're like, oh, what would I do if I was doing it? Sidestep left, forward, duck, take. Yeah. So it used it used colour separation overlay or green screen, blue screen technology to put all these things on the screen. It was brilliant. It's very much loved. Anyway, talking about much loved, a bit of Fry and Laurie starts.
Ooh.
So one of my absolute favourite all-time sketch shows starring Stephen Fry and Hugh Laurie. Through the Keyhole starts.
Oh, good grief.
A programme where a man looks around someone's house and Bobby Davro tries to guess who. Sums it up, I think. But more importantly, Inspector Morse starts.
Oh, right, okay. That's me doing the theme tune to that.
It was very accurate. It's very good. Yeah, so the Inspector Morse adaptations, which basically run from 1987 to 2000, I think, or something like that. It's brilliant television, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's about a very grumpy detective. I'm just having a flashback to maybe an Inspector Morse themed dream I've had recently, but I'm going to say no more about it at the moment.
Oh no! Do report if it comes back to you.
Yeah. So it's just good telly, and especially of its era, with lots of familiar faces, nice countryside, and grumpy detectives wandering around. And it spawned like an equally good prequel series in recent years. So yes, it's certainly worth checking out for anybody who hasn't seen it.
I think it was on the mystery strand in America. I think we've talked about before for certain shows. So yeah, it is brilliant, Inspector Morse. It's just spot on stuff. Over in America, we have the Tracy Ullman Show starts, which spawns
The Simpsons.
Yeah, so 1987 sees the first appearance of The Simpsons as a short inside the Tracy Ullman Show, which is odd because she's a British comedian who just became famous in America. I mean, she was in things over here as well, but yeah, she got her own show over there, and that sort of gave birth to The Simpsons. The original DuckTales starts, which is fantastic. The new DuckTales is really good as well. If you ever get a chance to see that, it's very well done.
Yeah, cool.
One of my favourites, Star Trek The Next Generation, begins in 1987, which must have watched many, many times. Mm-hmm. And this is something relevant to our domain, a programme called Beverly Hills Bunts.
Beverly Hills Bunts.
Now, I don't know if I've mentioned this before on here or in conversation. Beverly Hills Bunts, spelt with a Z, is a spin-off from Hill Street Blues. So you've got the cop, Norman Bunts, who is sort of a bad cop, it's like big set guy, bit of a slob, almost in an Andy Parker sort of vibe. Yeah. Andy Parker, Fat Ollie type of thing. So he leaves Hill Street Blues, this fantastic world-beating cop drama, hard-hitting stuff, moves to Beverly Hills and becomes a PI. And it's a comedy.
Excellent.
Is it any good? I don't know. It doesn't sound like it, does it?
Shall I? I'll read this out, and you can guess whether it's any good. 13 episodes, 4 unaired.
Cancelled. It's up there with the Don Lee Westlake's train-based
Super Train or whatever it was called.
Show with different models of say no more.
And the only other thing I wanted to mention from America was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon, which, if our American listeners don't know, over here was called Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles.
Oh, yeah.
Because of some sort of... I'm not really sure why.
Well, ninjas was such a massive problem, weren't they?
We were plagued by ninjas at the time.
In the mid-'80s, you couldn't move for ninjas.
Yeah, constantly being attacked by ninjas lashing shuriken at you.
Yeah. It was some sort of weird, media scare thing, wasn't it? That suddenly, if we had the word ninja, kids were suddenly going to be out on the streets with nunchucks smashing each other's faces in.
If you have the word hero, but they're still using the exact same weapons, it's so much better.
Yeah. In fact, actually, now I think about it, it's so much worse, isn't it?
The fact that they're cartoon turtles doesn't even enter into anybody's mind.
No. Yeah, it's by the time that a media scare comes along, you already have to have left logic behind in most cases for these things anyway. And a quick look over in Australia. I know we've got Australian friends. And
Flying Vets. No.
No, I haven't got any long-running soaps to mention this time. I have got something called Willing and Able.
Kyle Willing and Brandon Abel. Is it something like that?
Yes, it is something like that.
Of course it is. Yeah, it was too obvious, that.
It's a comedy about two handymen, Charles Willing and Abel Moore.
Oh, right, okay.
So, like Cain and Abel type spelling of the first name. So, but they've also got a friend called Angela Reddy, so they're Reddy, Willing, and Able.
Oh my goodness!
I didn't want to know any more about it, so I just thought it's just brilliant. But they've also got a show in Australia just called Rage.
Wow!
John Rage.
John Rage is angry. But you think you might have heard of this, and I'll tell you the reason I would have thought we might have heard of this, but clearly haven't. Is that it's an all-night music show, like a Friday night music show that plays all through the night in Australia. It's the oldest music TV show that's currently in production still in the world. So, but it's obviously not got any international cachet, as it were. But yeah, oldest running music TV show. It's still in production since 1987.
Fantastic.
And other than Australia, I popped over to Canada, as I always like to check in with our Canadian friends, to find that there is 1987 sees the arrival of a game show called Bumper Stumpers.
Good.
Bumper Stumpers. God.
Do you want to guess what it's about?
If I can't even guess.
Well, let me explain the conceit behind Bumper Stumpers. It is a Canadian game show in which two teams of two players attempted to... Oh, no. I tried to start reading that, and I just thought, I can't believe I'm about to read this out. Attempted to decipher vanity license plates in an attempt to win money.
Oh, my goodness.
I can't really see what... I mean, maybe it was fascinating. Maybe if it had been on over here, we'd be watching it to this day, but...
Well, perhaps.
Bumper stumpers.
Yeah, it sounds rubbish.
Or maybe it's time for a revival. I'm sure the rights wouldn't cost much. Right. Anyway, that's all TV. There was only those 12 shows or whatever we talked about in the world.
More than enough.
Let's get to the movies then, before we get onto our own picks.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's 1987. Good year for super smash hits, such as... Well, I'll tell you what, I'll work up from the bottom, 10 upwards. The Witches of Eastwick is at number 10 of the highest grossing films of 1987. Number 9 is Lethal Weapon. Number 8 is Stakeout, which I don't think I know that one.
That's Richard Dreyfuss and Emilio Estevez.
Ah, right, okay. Number 7 is The Secret of My Success.
Oh, yeah, Michael J. Fox.
Yeah. Number 6 is The Untouchables.
Oh, yeah.
So it was a sort of big ensemble piece, wasn't it, that one?
Yeah, it's good, yeah.
Number 5 is Moonstruck.
Oh, Cher. Yeah.
Oh, yes, of course, it's Cher. Oh, please forgive me, Cher. I didn't mean to grumble at you. Anyway, number 4 is Good Morning Vietnam. Number 3 is Beverly Hills Cop 2.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2 is Fatal Attraction, which was a super huge smash.
Oh, yeah.
But it wasn't as big a smash in 1987 as the number 1. 3 Men and a Baby.
Wow. Classic Guttenberg.
Selleck.
Yeah.
Danson.
Yeah, well.
All the greats.
Yeah. Powerhouses.
Guttenberg. Steve Guttenberg must be like one of the top grossing actors of the 80s, mustn't he? And yet, you would never, he must be top 20, top 30, surely.
Quite possibly. I mean, if you think
and
about
yet
the amount of...
never in a million years guess his name, would you?
I mean, you consider his career from about 1984 to about 1988. He would have been in top-ranking films in every one of those years, several even.
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, it'd been a load of tripe as well, but...
Until it came to P.S. My Cat is Dead, or whatever that film was. We found that he was in once.
Yes. P.S. Your cat is dead. Or as Lorraine said when she couldn't remember its name, PC Cat is dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean, there was loads of films out in 1987, like... do you remember what Bond film it was in 1987?
It was Living Daylights.
Yeah, absolutely. But there's quite a few good kids' films.
Well, can I have my pick now? Because I'm going to pick one of these. I'm going to do my pick for the movie. When I was having a glance down, I remember absolutely bloody and I've not seen it for years. Inner Space, you remember that?
I do remember.
Oh God, that was such a good film. That.
Yeah, it is.
Whatever happened to bloody what's his face who was in it? Martin Short. He seemed to totally disappear, didn't he?
Yeah. Well, he's big friends with Steve Martin, isn't he? He does a lot of stuff with Steve Martin.
That's right, yeah.
But yeah, what a film that was. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. And it must be 10 years since I've seen that, 15 years. But so that was my before he got mentioned. I think that would be my movie pick. Yeah.
Excellent stuff. I'll tell you what, let's all do our movie picks now then. You've chosen Inner Space, which I remember. I remember all the hoo-ha about it coming out. I remember the trailers and it being on Film 87 and thinking, I want to see that one.
I'm fairly sure I went to the cinema to see it. That's one of probably a reasonably early cinema visit for a proper movie, I imagine.
I wonder if I did. I might have done as well. I'm trying to think. Anyhow, I don't know. I'd asked my dad if he took us, but his memory's dreadful, so that wouldn't help.
Yeah, release date, July 87, so we'd have been 8.5, wouldn't we? So
summer blockbuster.
Yeah.
So, Morgan, do you want to do your movie pick now, then, while we're doing movie picks?
Yeah, by all means. I mean, I'm sure there were definitely lots of actually good movies in 1987, but I want to ignore those completely, and I'd like to pick The Running Man.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah, that's good.
Which
Yeah,
I definitely didn't see in '87. I would have seen it around like 1989 or 1990 whenever it was we got a video recorder and I could go to the video rental place. But yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger in dystopian future America being forced into an ultra-violent game show. Fantastic.
Yeah. Would you have been started reading 2000 AD about that time as well?
I definitely would have been an avid reader of 2000 AD by that point, yeah.
Because it's totally in that world, isn't it? It's
very much so, yeah.
It's so
a lot more
sort of
fun,
vibe.
actually, than the Stephen King novella that it's based on. Well, it was Richard Bachman, I guess it was the name it was written under, which is, I was disappointed because I read the book afterwards and it was much more serious.
Fair enough. But no, it's a brilliant film.
It's a corker.
Yeah, so looking through the list of films, I was trying to decide what stuck out for me in 1987. Having had 1986 be such a powerful year for young Paul Abbott, but as I look back now on the possible things, and there are quite a few sort of favourites of mine in there as well. But the one that I'm choosing is RoboCop because
Terrific!
It's simply it's an almost peerless bit of satire, dystopian satire. It's that first RoboCop film is brilliant and it's fab. So that RoboCop is my pick.
Tremendous. Also quite 2000 AD-ish, I think, really.
Yeah, very much so. Like we've had this discussion before about how a Judge Dredd film should have been more like RoboCop and less like the Judge Dredd film.
Yeah.
So, until they actually made Dredd.
Yes.
Which reset the balance a little bit.
Yeah,
but yeah, some of the other movies that came out in 1987 that, I mean, one or two of these almost got on my shortlist. You've got Harry and the Hendersons, in which a Yeti goes to a house. You've got Superman 4: The Quest for Peace.
That's the really, 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 really bad one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a strange one. I mean, I love the Superman films with Christopher Reeve a great deal. I have a lot of time for them. But Superman 4: The Quest for Peace, by any measure, is not a good film. But
that's the one they ran out of money, isn't it?
Yeah,
and then...
yeah, it is. It's a canon film.
I was going to say canon, yeah.
But of course, if you didn't want to watch Superman 4: The Quest for Peace, you could watch something even better: the Masters of the Universe film.
Oh God!
No wonder they run out of money making both of them in the same year.
Yeah. That was Masters of the Universe film is such a strange thing because they totally missed. So what Transformers did well, which was they took a thing that people had in a certain way, a cartoon, made a cartoon movie out of it, realizing that kids were really, invested in these characters and coming out with even more sort of brand loyalty. With He-Man, they make Masters of the Universe and it's nothing like the toys.
Yeah, and didn't they even invent new characters for the film, even though there was already probably literally hundreds in existence? It was just ridiculous, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then they end up setting it on Earth and putting Courtney Cox in it.
Yeah, although Frank Lagella's really good in that, actually.
Yes, he is. Yeah. It's a strange curio in the history of films spun off from toys. Anyway, there's the film of Dragnet, the comedy film.
Oh yeah, great stuff.
Which, I still have a soft spot for that. We've got Nightmare on Elm Street 3: Dream Warriors.
That was my other choice. I was wavering.
Yeah,
excellent.
We've got Batteries Not Included, which is one of the most heartbreaking films I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's lovely.
And The Princess Bride, which I only saw a couple of years ago for the first time, and is an absolutely wonderful movie and absolutely deserving of its reputation. Unlike the Garbage Pail Kids movie. What could go wrong with a movie based on some stickers that are making fun of a popular girls' toy line? It's
And today, as a result, we have the Emoji Movie.
Yeah, it's probably the fault of Garbage Pail Kids, to be honest. Anyway, let's move on to our music picks, and I will come to Steve-O first for his album.
Well, there's quite a good few albums. Yeah, it's difficult to know which to pick, isn't it? You see, I mentioned Hysteria earlier. I was having a look, and there's quite a few albums of such ilk that year, which you get seduced by, don't you? I think I might go for Document by R.E.M., which I've always thought is a very fine album, which I noted was released that year. So I shall go for that.
So you swerved away from the hard rock heavy metal into the college indie.
Yeah, but have I made the right decision? They're very different, of course, aren't they? But maybe I'll have one side of each. Who knows?
That would be a heck of a that would be a weird album. You took that home.
Alternate tracks, even better.
You could do that. Program it on Spotify and listen to it like that.
Brilliant.
Okay, I'll move to Morgan then.
Okay, well, I mean, I realised shortly after I said my choice last time for 1986 that actually, although it was recorded mostly in 86, it came out in 87, so I cheated.
Yeah, you ruined the format.
So you're doing an 86 album now then? Or?
No, I should do, but I'm just not going to. I'm just going to do another 87 one because what the hell. So for my proper 1987 choice, I'm going to pick the album All by the Descendants.
Ah, right, okay.
Just because I'd like to get them in and I haven't mentioned them before. All is the last album before they broke up for what was actually the second time when their lead singer went back to college to be a biochemist, and it's a really interesting blend of amazing catchy pop punk and really obtuse kind of like prog, which shouldn't work at all but does. It's great, and then weird little kind of 1 second long hardcore songs. It's terrific. It
doesn't surprise me that you picked that one at all. So my pick for 1987, I'd looked through a load of options and I sort of ummed and ahed about one or two of them, but I had to go with the one that I've probably listened to the most, and I've probably had most arguments about as well with this one, and it's Appetite for Destruction by Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Which I maintain is an absolutely phenomenal album.
Oh, yeah.
From a band at the sort of the peak of their early powers. Yes, there's plenty to argue about the the nature of cover design, imagery, language, and stuff like that. But, if you start doing that, then the entire heavy metal edifice falls away for hundreds and hundreds of bands, really, doesn't it?
Yeah.
A lot of people prefer Metallica over Guns N' Roses, but Appetite for Destruction for me is just such a brilliant album of essentially pop songs.
Yeah, it's a pretty magnificent rock and roll album, isn't it?
I still occasionally, I don't listen to it as often as I did, years ago when I first got into it, but I'll still occasionally put it on now and enjoy it.
Yeah, I definitely wore my original cassette right through. It became totally unplayable. I listened to it that much, so
yeah. I think my first cassette of it was one we bought when we were on holiday in Cyprus. It's our first holiday in Cyprus. We lived in Cyprus very briefly when we were children, and this was our first holiday back to Cyprus, and there was lots of shops selling cassettes of things, but because they had the cross design on the front, because they couldn't sell, or it came from a country where you couldn't sell things with cross iconography on it, so there was very badly sort of blacked out sidebars on this cross that you could still see. But yeah, so it's got this weird sort of Middle Eastern edition of Appetite for Destruction. It was my first experience of it. Right, well, there we go then. We've got some indie rock, some hard rock, and some prog hardcore.
Yeah, sort of prog pop punk hardcore-ish, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Okay. Right, well, we'll be skipping 1988 next time, coming into 1989, so we might have to decide whether we're going to do a little quick run-through of 1988 as well. Who knows?
We're missing an absolute top album in 1988, so...
Well, I might grant you special dispensation to mention it.
I might do a Morgan and pick an album from the wrong year.
just get it wrong, yeah.
Okie doke. Right, well, until such a time as we return with book 41, which is Lullaby, I'm going to say goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye, everyone.
And fare thee well.
Everyone. Bye.
Everyone.